The Red Sea does not mourn, it simply continues. At Dahab, on the eastern edge of the Sinai Peninsula, the water begins shallow and warm and impossibly clear. The kind of turquoise that belongs on postcards. The kind that makes first-time visitors believe the sea is friendly here. It is not. 200 meters from the shore, the reef shelf ends. The sand drops away without warning, without gradient, without ceremony. One step forward on the bottom, and you are standing at the edge of a vertical shaft that plunges to 130 meters. The Blue Hole. The locals have another name for it. They call it the Diver's Cemetery. Youssef Hanna has been coming to this place since he was 19 years old. He knows every mood of it. He knows how the morning light hits the inner wall of the shaft and turns it the color of pale jade. He knows how the current shifts at midday, how the thermocline sits at exactly 22 meters, how the sound changes below 40, the way the sea closes around you like a hand, gently, without malice, without any feeling at all. He is 41 now. He has been a freediving instructor for 16 years. He has trained over 300 students at this site alone. He has pulled 4 of them back from depths they should not have reached. He has not always been in time. Today is the 14th of September, 2023. 3 years to the day since Marcus Albrecht went into the arch and did not come out. Youssef sits on the concrete platform at the edge of the Blue Hole, his fins beside him, his mask on his forehead, his GoPro camera mounted to a chest harness he borrowed from a student and has not returned. He has no dive partner. He signed no log. He told no one he was coming here today because he knew if he told someone, they would have tried to stop him, and he is not sure he would have had the strength to resist. The sealed evidence bag is in his truck. He has opened it only once, 2 years ago, at 3 a.m. in his kitchen, and he put everything back inside before he could look at it properly, and has not opened it since. The bag contains Marcus's dive computer, Marcus's mask, and one item the police could not explain and did not try to, a length of blue nylon rope cut cleanly at both ends, approximately 40 centimeters long, tied in a loop. The official report said nitrogen narcosis. 45 words. Filed in 11 days. Youssef pulls his mask down over his eyes, seals his lips around the snorkel, and slides into the water without a sound. The sea accepts him the way it accepts everything. Completely, without comment. At the surface, the water is 27 degrees Celsius, and the visibility extends to 30 meters in every direction. Sergeant damselfish dart at the edges of the coral shelf. A small shoal of glassfish parts around Youssef's legs like smoke. He floats for a moment, face down, looking at the reef top below him. Brain coral, staghorn, table coral, draped in purple sea fans, and he takes 4 slow, controlled breaths. Then a 5th. Then he bends at the waist, lifts his legs, and drops. At 10 meters, the color begins to shift. The turquoise deepens toward blue-green. The surface light fractures into moving columns, each one slightly out of phase with the others. A Napoleon wrasse, old, enormous, its forehead humped with age, regards him from a ledge with one flat gold eye, and then slowly turns away, unimpressed. At 20 meters, the thermocline. The cold arrives like a wall. It is not gradual here. It is a threshold, and crossing it takes an act of will each time, every time, no matter how many hundreds of times you have done it. Youssef crosses it without hesitating. His chest cavity compresses. The pressure equalizes behind his eardrums with a sound like a soft tap on hollow wood. At 30 meters, the shaft wall is close on his left. He can see the limestone clearly. Pale beige stone pockmarked with ancient erosion patterns, traced with thin ribbons of coralline algae in dusty pink and white. Small holes in the wall shelter cardinal fish that hover in pairs, barely moving, watching him pass. At 40 meters, the light is the color of deep water at dusk, blue-gray. The visibility has not dropped, but the quality of what is visible has changed. Everything seems slightly further away than it is. Every edge is softer. This is the narcosis threshold for most recreational divers. For Youssef, it is simply 40 meters. At 50 meters, he can see the arch. It opens in the rock wall like a mouth, a natural tunnel, roughly oval, 4 meters high at its widest point, running horizontally through the reef, for approximately 26 meters before it exits on the open ocean side. Its entrance is framed by a pale limestone lip crusted with orange cup corals, their tiny polyps extended even in the dim light. Beyond the entrance, the tunnel narrows. Beyond the narrowing, the open sea is a faint gray oval of slightly less darkness. More than 200 divers have entered the ark and failed to exit it. Most ran out of air halfway through, convinced they had enough, seduced by the nitrogen singing in their blood. A few simply turned the wrong direction in the dark. Marcus Albrecht entered it on a Thursday morning with a full tank and 200 bar of pressure and 3 years of diving experience, and he never came out the other side. His body was recovered 11 days later at 93 meters below the open ocean exit. The current had taken him down. Youssef reaches the entrance of the arch and stops. His GoPro is recording. The red light blinks twice per second, steady, indifferent. He reaches out and rests his gloved fingertips against the limestone lip. And then he sees it. It is wedged into a narrow crack in the limestone wall, approximately 1 meter to the right of the arch entrance, at a height that puts it precisely at eye level for someone hovering in the water column, as though it was placed there to be found, not dropped there to be forgotten. A dive slate. White, standard size, 20 centimeters by 14, the kind sold in every dive shop in Dahab for 6 Egyptian pounds. The kind every free diver carries as a matter of habit, because speaking underwater is impossible, and communication matters. The kind Marcus always carried clipped to his left wrist on a short bungee cord. Youssef does not touch it. Not immediately. He hovers with his fins moving in slow, minimal strokes, and he looks at it the way you look at something when you are not entirely certain it is real. The slate is not new. 3 years of submersion have left a thin patina of biofilm across its lower half, a gray-green bacterial film that blurs the edges of the board but has not reached the writing surface. The clip at the top, the same wrist clip Marcus used, has oxidized to a dull brown. The bungee cord is gone, degraded and dispersed by current and time. The writing is in black, permanent marker. Broad strokes, written deliberately, written without rush. Youssef moves his face to within 30 centimeters of the slate. His chest is compressing now. He is at 56 meters, and his lungs are smaller than a fist. But his body is not sending the panic signal yet. He has trained it out of himself over 20 years. His pulse is 43 beats per minute. He reads it. He reads it again. The words are in German. Marcus is German. Compressed. Slightly informal, the way Marcus always wrote. Short words. No wasted space. Youssef. Wenn du das liest, bist du zurückgekommen. Das wusste ich. Youssef. If you are reading this, you came back. I knew you would. Ich habe das hier hingelegt, bevor wir reingetaucht sind. Der Plan war immer, dass nur einer von uns herauskommt. I placed this here before we dived. The plan was always that only one of us would come out. Below that, a date. The 14th of September, 2020. The date of Marcus's death. Written before the dive. Youssef's body sends the signal now. Not panic. Something older and quieter than panic. A whole system recognition that something has changed, that the world is different from what it was 30 seconds ago, that the rules of a situation have been rewritten while he was inside it. His diaphragm contracts. His vision tunnels fractionally at the edges. His pulse, when he checks it by reflex against his wrist, is no longer 43. It is higher. Much higher. He is at 56 meters. He has been underwater for 3 minutes and 14 seconds. At this depth, on a single breath, he has perhaps 90 seconds before the hypoxic window opens, before the oxygen partial pressure in his blood drops below the threshold at which the brain can sustain consciousness. He knows this number exactly. He has taught it to hundreds of students. He has written it on whiteboards in 4 languages. He does not ascend. There is more writing below the date. Smaller. He missed it because the biofilm at the bottom edge of the slate obscures the final 2 lines, and he has to bring his mask within 10 centimeters to read through the haze. Die Tasche im Truck. Öffne sie. Du weißt bereits, was du finden wirst. The bag in the truck. Open it. You already know what you will find. Youssef pulls back from the slate. The bag. The evidence bag. Marcus's dive computer, his mask, the 40-centimeter length of blue nylon rope tied in a loop. Not evidence of an accident. A message. Left in stages, across 3 years, knowing Youssef would not open the bag until he was ready. Until he had come back to this place. Until he had found the slate. Until he had read enough to understand what he was looking at. His vision narrows at the corners. The narcosis is not the problem. The problem is that he is now at 56 meters, and he cannot remember deciding not to ascend, and he has been reading for too long, and his body is beginning to override the instructions his mind is still trying to process. A blue-spotted ribbon-tail ray moves beneath him, pale and unhurried, its tail trailing through the sediment in the arch entrance. It disturbs a small cloud of silt that rises and spreads, and for 4 seconds partially obscures the slate. Youssef looks up. The surface is a bright blue-white disk impossibly far above him. The light from it reaches down in long, fractured columns and fades to nothing at 30 meters. He begins to ascend. He does not take the slate. He does not touch it. He leaves it exactly where Marcus left it. Where Marcus placed it before the dive on the 14th of September, 2020, with full knowledge of what was coming and with complete certainty that Youssef would eventually return to read it. He swims upward. His vision clears at 30 meters. His pulse drops at 20. At 10 meters, he slows to a controlled final ascent. And at 3 meters, he stops and holds for 60 seconds, and the glassfish come back around his legs, and the damselfish resume their patrol, and the Red Sea continues.